الله أكبر
إن الحمد لله نحمده سبحانه ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك وله الحمد، يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير. اللهم اقسم لنا من خشيتك ما تحول به بيننا وبين معصيتك، ومن طاعتك ما تبلغنا به جنتك، ومن اليقين ما تهون به علينا مصائب الدنيا. ومتعنا اللهم بأسماعنا وأبصارنا وقواتنا ما أحييتنا، واجعله الوارث منا، واجعل ثأرنا على من ظلمنا، وانصرنا اللهم على من عادانا، ولا تجعل مصيبتنا في ديننا، ولا تجعل الدنيا أكبر همنا ولا مبلغ علمنا، ولا تسلط علينا بذنوبنا من لا يخافك ولا يرحمنا يا رب العالمين. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم إن زلزلة الساعة شيء عظيم، يوم ترونها تذهل كل مرضعة عما أرضعت وتضع كل ذات حمل حملها، وترى الناس سكارى وما هم بسكارى ولكن عذاب الله شديد. وأصلي وأسلم على مبعوث رحمة العالمين سيدنا محمد بن عبد الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وعنا معهم إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most compassionate, the most merciful, all praise and thanks are due to him, and peace and blessings be upon his beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He who is guided by the will of Allah, no one can misguide him, and he who is misguided, no one can guide him except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We do bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. Respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. the biggest global gathering ever against racism, discrimination, and hunger or poverty. This is the title. It's part of the Eid khutbah. I noticed that we were not able to convey a clear message because of the location, because of the echo sound system, because of the big gathering, because of the timing. So I felt that we are not serving our cause very well. So I decided to reply part of the messages as long as we are still living under the big umbrella of Al-Hajj days. Today is the third day of At-Tashriq, alhamdulillah. So still we are in the days of Al-Hajj. So I will be sending 5 messages. The main goal of what I'm trying to do is to help my dear brother, parents, fathers and mothers, how to plant the seeds of pride in the religion of Islam in the hearts of their kids. This is the aim. Why I will be repeating, I repeat. My main goal is to help parents how to plant the seeds, how to let your kid be proud of his religion through the Hajj, through Ramadan, through being a Muslim, not to feel shame at all of his identity. Actually, if someone should be proud of his identity, it should be a Muslim. So please try to go with me with this quick journey. I decided to choose 5 basic messages. Use them. In case if you know, just fix them and reuse them. If you don't know, I will be more than happy to share them with you so that you can convey them to your family and your kids. Message number 1, the Day of Judgment. Now, as we all know, one of the most important pillar of our existence, believing in the Day of Judgment. Actually, when you go through the Quran, the only thing that Allah repeatedly connects with al-Iman billah, it's not the zakah. It's not the siyam, always. It's not even the salah. Most of the time, يؤمنون بالله واليوم الآخر, يوم الآخر, the hereafter, the hereafter. Because you know, if the hereafter, يوم الآخر, does not exist in the formula, our existence is nonsense. Because we are living in this worldly life, the reality of our existence will start after death. Death is just a gate, the hereafter. Hereafter, the accountability. So what is the importance of Hajj starting from Arafah? Arafah is a training, compulsory training course for the Day of Judgment. So when we speak about Arafah or Hajj, we have many things to speak about. I'm just giving examples how we need not to keep looking to our religion, especially when it comes to rituals. طقوس الشعائرية or عبادات الشعائرية. It's not just rituals. No. There is a deep meaning. Your kids should be aware of this. Especially we are living in a non-Muslim country. So when the majority around them, they don't know Islam, they don't know Arabic, they don't know the spirit of... so it's very normal. You know, a friend of your kid might ask him, what do you do when your family, your father go to Hajj? Can you imagine how embarrassing it will be if the only information he knows that my father traveled to Saudi Arabia to circle around black books and to stone, Satan who does not see him with some stones and comes back. If this is the only idea that he has about the whole idea of the Hajj, it will be a really destructive, way of understanding the beauty of Islam. So this will not be solved just by wishful thinking. We need knowledge. Ilm, accumulated knowledge. So the first message, please, you, I, myself, all of us, we should be aware. Arafah as part of Al-Hajj, which is the most important pillar, is a training course for the Day of Judgment. It's not just a ritual. No. It's a training course for the most important moment of our existence. Because some people, they say, but Sheikh, death is the most important, serious. No. Death is just a gate to the day of judgment. And by the way, death is not the final. You know why? Because we know in our aqidah, إذا مات ابن آدم انقطع عمله. Even when you die, by the way, your account has not been closed yet, even after death. Because you have three main channels of receiving rewards or, God forbid, sins. Continuous charity, sadaqah jariyah. If you have a continuous charity, even after death, the reward is still being added to your account. Plus, علم ينتفع به, you spread the knowledge. Or, ولد صالح يدعو له, a kid, male or female, making dua for you, doing righteous. So you might, in theory, in mathematical terminology, you might pass this worldly life and you went to the barrier, عالم البرزخ, the punishment of the grave or the pleasure of the grave, while your account has, let's say, 50% of hasanat or rewards. While being there, because of your kids, you might be from those who have 90% of hasanat. So it's not the end. But the serious time end is the day of judgment, when we stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the accountability. And we have two categories. ها أقرأ كتابية إني ظننت أني ملاق حسابي or يا ليتها كانت القاضية ما أغنى عني مالية هلك عني سلطاني. It's either or. At that time, the most horrible time, the most serious time, where my final ultimate destination will be decided, Arafah is a training for that time. So this is message number one. Message number two, discrimination and racism. Who on earth is able to gather 5 million persons and they are commanded, and all of them they obey, no ranks, no hats, no prestige, no one knows whether you are a professor or a king or a vice president or a minister or a clever person or a layman or a very rich or a simple worker, who knows? All of them 2 pieces of clothes. What's this? We need to know that 1400 years ago, people of earth, they were living on the base of racism and discrimination, either ethnic racism or religious racism, classification, discrimination. All people, I challenge, if anyone can disprove this to me, I challenge. All people of earth. Actually, up to this very moment, go and ask our neighbors, United States, who are supposed to be the most powerful state on earth. And as many people think, they are the best, most powerful democratic state on earth. Go and just read and see and watch what happens about racism there. We are in the 21st century. Have people on earth, or were they able to manage to solve the problem of racism? No. No. 1400 years ago, Islam solved it. And we are very proud in a smooth way. Bilal al-Habashi radiallahu anhu, Bilal, who used to be a slave from Abyssinia, fully humiliated, looking down at him. At a certain point in Islam, after he became Islam, he once came to a gathering where the big Sahaba of Quraysh, like Umar and Abu Bakr, were sitting. Prophet Muhammad said, قُومُوا لِسَيِّدِكُمْ, stand up to greet your master, Bilal radiallahu anhu. So this is Islam. So when you speak about Arafah or Hajj, having 2 pieces of clothes, no classification, no discrimination, no racism, you should be proud. Because people of earth, with all the money, with all the knowledge, with all the power, with all the access of everything, we are able, some of us, they reached Mars, they reached the moon many times, they did such and such, and they know how to do. They do surgical, heart operations 10,000 miles ago. But still, we have racism and discrimination. In Islam, it's solved. I'm talking about practicing Muslims. So please don't discuss me with anyone who's not practicing Islam. It's not my problem. Because any religion has bad people or followers. So don't tell me for example, country, we have people that don't care, they don't represent Islam. I'm talking about the system and the religion. So when we speak about Arafah or the Hajj, we are speaking about a divine guarantee to reduce and to demolish racism and discrimination. Third message, hunger, poverty. We look to the idea of sacrifice as a ritual for the sake of Allah and have the ajr. Wait, let's review it in the language of economy. Let's review it in the language of politics. Can you imagine just a quick assumption? We are 2 billion Muslims. Imagine just 40% of us did sacrifice 2 days ago for the sake of Allah, 400 millions. According to the Sunnah, third of the sacrifice should be distributed for poor and needy. And many people, they distribute the whole of the udhiyah. So an average maybe 300 million Muslims, I'm not saying 2 billion now, just 300 million, less than the quarter, they distributed meat. You know, the smallest of sacrifice is the sheep. After slaughtering a sheep, you will have an average 12 to 17 kilograms of meat. If they distributed third, so you have 300 million distributed, multiplied by 5, 1.5 billion kilograms of meat in one day. I repeat, and by the way, it could be doubled because I don't have stats. I'm just assuming something reasonable. At least 1.5 billion kilograms of meat for free distributed in a few hours on earth. What does this mean? I think you know, and you can ask Mr. Google, that millions of people, I'm not exaggerating, millions of people, they don't eat meat not even once a year. You know that. Many people in Africa, in far Asia, they don't eat meat not even once a year. Can you imagine a system commands its followers every year 1 or 2 or 3 billion kilograms of meat for free distributed for people in need? What does it mean? If you want to understand what does it mean, ask yourself the following question. If we want to consult Mr. United States of America as the most powerful army, which is distributed in at least maybe 90 or 170 places. If we ask them, if you want to distribute meat of about 2 billion kilograms for 1 billion person in one day, how many months of preparation of logistics do you need and what is the value of this operation? I assure you it will be tens of billions. Billions. If Americans want to distribute 2 billion kilograms of meat in one day for about 1 billion person in one day, they need to prepare 8 to 9 months and they need to pay billions. Just logistics, administrative work of logistics will take 6 months for hundreds of thousands of employees with their salaries will be billions. In Islam for free. This is how you need to review the greatness and the beauty of your religion. And by the way, if it's up to Arabs or Somalis or Pakistanis, why should we do it? In economic or mathematics, why to do it? Let's save these billions and to have our prosperity in our country and close the file, period. Why do we do this? Muslims, submission, commandments of Allah, period. So you need to do this. Your kids must know this. This will lead me to the next 2 points, which I will finish. I told you 5 messages. Hereafter, racism and discrimination, then poverty and hunger, to see what does Islam have in terms of power to offer for humanity. This is just simple one day. What about if you discuss the concept of reward of ajr of sadaqah all the year, if Islam is to be applied on a state's level? Type. Fourth message. And I told you for those who came late, the aim of my khutbah is how to plant the seeds of pride in the hearts of your kids to be proud of their religion. This is the aim. So tell them in this way, use this terminology, because this is the nowadays way of understanding for the people. Fourth message, our uniqueness in celebration. What do I mean by that? Ask anyone, when the word celebration just is mentioned, what is the connotation, dilala? What comes to your mind? Close your eye, imagine yourself a normal lay Western person. Once the word celebration is mentioned, what comes to your mind? Let's count. Alcohol, drink, dance, music, sexual harassment, car accidents, rapes. Yes, this is what comes, the celebration, especially when it's in mass, big numbers. Take simple example, Real Madrid, Barcelona, or special the British fans when they win or they lose, or they want to celebrate. What happens? You all know. They drink, lose control, sexual harassments, broken everything in the street, a lot of injuries, police forces, special police, sometimes anti-terrorism police, everything is destroyed in that area. Insurance companies will pay a lot for many people. Many places will close their place. Just a small football or soccer game. We Muslims, at least those who celebrate the Eid, 1.5 billion. Tell me about one of them. I'm talking about the practicing Muslims. If while celebrating he drinks and causes troubles, not even one. So we speak about celebration, but no alcohol, no drink, no car accident, no sexual rapes, no problems, no mixed parties, no dancing, no nudity, nothing even though we are celebrating. So we have a uniqueness in our celebration. You need to know that. You need to be proud of that. That's why those who attend with us, I did it many times and I repeat it maybe for the fourth or fifth time. Every time we have politicians sitting there when they come for, whatever. Sometimes not politicians, sometimes we have officials, we have the mayor, we have the chief officer of the police sometimes. I always used to tell them the following: if you want to choose a place to bring ready Canadian citizens, law-abiding citizens, you will find no better than Muslims. Even if you want to search outside the planet Earth, you must bring Muslims. Because a Muslim by default is an excellent citizen. He does not drink. He will not lose his conscience. No car accident. No sexual harassment. It's haram. By the way, not because he is whatever, because he's Muslim. Because he follows the law of Allah. The law of Allah, drugs is haram. Anything has to do with sexual relation on earth apart from marriage is haram. Mixed parties is haram. Alcohol is haram. So where the problems will come from? So if you want to guarantee a safe society, you need Muslims. Wallahi. I'm just depending on the concept of celebration. Compare Muslim celebration with any celebration as a norm. What happens and compare it. And by the way, I'm speaking in an academic, logical sense now. It's not emotional. If I have a time, unless we have just a limitation of few minutes for the khutbah, if it's a lecture, I will bring numbers. I will search, I will bring you numbers. What used to happen in football games, what used to happen in hockey games, what used to happen after that, I can bring numbers, I can, your mind will be blown when I compare these things. So please plant the seeds of pride in the hearts of your kids. And the final one, which I finish my khutbah with. I was supposed to start with it, by the way, but I decided to finish by it to guarantee that everyone has come before we start the qadar. Now, the final message, just to remind you, first message it was about hereafter, Arafah. Second message about racism and discrimination. Third message is about poverty and hunger. And what do we have to offer the world, people on earth, not Arabs and Muslims. We have something to offer. Fourth one, is the one that I had just finished, which is celebration, uniqueness, very clean, nice, noble way of celebration. The final one, it's all about submission. What is the title of our religion? Islam. It's not Iman. It's not Iman. It's Islam. Submission. What is the lesson that we take from the Hajj? Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was asked to go, by the way, about 4,000 years ago, according to the Torah. We don't have an authentic records about the time. However, we have a record in the Torah, the Old Testament, that it's 3,900 years from now. It could be true or not, but this is the only historical record that we have. In case, if it's true, I'll talk about 4,000 years ago, Ibrahim alayhi salam. Ibrahim alayhi salam was commanded to go to a place of what we know as Mecca now, pure stone desert. Go and take your wife and your son. Hadr ya Allah. What is this? Submission. Type. The wife, the emotional being. Ya Ibrahim, Allahu amaraka bihada. Is it Allah who commanded you? Yes. قال إذن لا يضيعنا. He will not leave us behind. What's this? Submission. Type later on. Ismail alayhi salam. فلما بلغه معه السعي. When he became, a youth, was able. Both of them, they were building the Kaaba. At a certain point, قال يا بني إني أرى في المنام أني أذبحك. Oh my dear son, I have seen in the dream. And by the way, dreams for prophets and messengers are part of the revelation. This is not applicable on normal people, just for prophets and messengers. It's the way of communication between Allah and messengers. قال إني أرى, I have seen a dream that I'm sacrificing you. What was the reaction of Ismail alayhi salam? قال يا أبت افعل ما تؤمر ستجدني إن شاء الله من الصابرين. Do whatever you've been commanded. Submission. So when we talk about Ismail, Ibrahim, Hagar, Hajj, all of them, submission. All of it, all about submission. And the title of our religion? Submission. Islam. So one of the biggest lessons that we need to take from the Hajj, in addition to Arafah and to idea of that we are the most powerful anti-racism, anti-hunger, anti-discrimination, in addition to all of that, we are the people, and by the way, we would not been able to do this unless we are the people of submission. Because if it's up to us, well, Allah, He will not do it. Why should we? Let's do what everyone else, let's enjoy all of these things. If we are non-believers, every one of us will be following whatever he wishes. Some of us will be worshipping their desires. Others will be worshipping their tribes. Others will be following their leaders. Third of them, they might be killers. Fourth of them, they will be drug addicts, for whatever. But because we follow the religion of Islam, we believe that we are pure slaves, servants of Allah. And we follow the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for our benefits. Because of that, we are the best nation who are eligible and capable to fight discrimination and racism and all the things that I've done. So it's a matter of submission. Do you know what's the importance of this specific message? We are living in a time where the level of anti-religion and the idea of individualism and the tough extremist secularism is going, up. Your kids at any support us. I'm sorry, Dad. Wallah, I love you, I respect you, but I'm not convinced to pray. I'm not convinced to wear the hijab. Not convinced yet. I'm not convinced that sexual relations is haram in Islam apart from marriage. Okay, I respect you, Daddy, but you are old-fashioned. You need to raise your kids in the concept of submission to Allah. We are not playing games with Allah. I play games with our friends. And sometimes I decide simply I don't want to have this friendship with my friend. Yes. I can decide for whatever reason that I don't want to allow this person to come to my house. I want to stop going around with this friend or this colleague. But this is not applicable in our relation with Allah. We need to raise the generation on submission to Allah, not to anything else. Not to anything else, just to Allah. Or otherwise, what is the meaning of Islam? This is the core of Islam. That's why Imam al-Bukhari, rahimahullah wa radiyallahu anhu, one of his famous statements, he used to say, قال قابلت ألفا من الشيوخ كلهم على أن الإيمان قول وعمل. I've met Imam Bukhari. I'm talking about Imam Bukhari, more than 1,100 years from now. He said, I've met more than 1,000 shaykh. Shaykh in the terminology of Bukhari means highest level of scholarship, which means the students of the tabi'een. So shaykh is not like in our terminology. Anyone with a small beard, praise Imam, he is a shaykh. No, we are not discussing this shaykh. We are talking about people from the level of Sahaba and the followers of the Sahaba. He says, Al-Bukhari, I have met 1,000 from this, all of them. They are on the faith that Iman, faith is based on qawl wa amal. You claim something and you do it, or otherwise you are outside of the equation. And this is Islam. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not call our religion Iman. It's Islam, Taslim. Whether it's hijab, or prayer, or arafah, or hajj, or respecting the parents, or prohibition of the bribe, or respecting the parents, or whatever. All of them are commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As a true Muslim, we submit. Whether I like it or not, whether I know the justification or not. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فيا فوز المستغفرين. استغفر الله استغفر الله استغفر الله استغفر الله استغفر الله. إن الحمد لله نحمده سبحانه ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير. Before I start the dua, respected brothers and sisters, it's not always the case that you have the luxury and the time to fix misconceptions in the minds and hearts of your kids. Don't wait them to be 15 and 17 and 20, then you have a good time you want to discuss with them. No. That's why I'm using to plant the seeds. Planting the seeds is an early stage. Please spare time from your time. Your kids, part of your priorities. Understanding Islam, being proud of Islam, not feeling shy of his or her identity is a priority, or otherwise. And please forgive me, and I hope none will misquote me, please. I and you, we are not here just to have a good, nice living. By the will of Allah, Allah has determined that we are in this country. If we think that Allah has decided that a group of Muslims are living in a non-Muslim country just to feel happy and safe, really we are misunderstanding the message of Allah. Having a nice, safe haven is the basic minimum requirement. We have a mission. The mission is to let the people of earth know Allah and the religion of Allah. If some of us don't know their religion, how this will happen? But what if a good number of us feel shy to manifest their identity? It's a disaster. Actually, it should be completely the opposite. Every single person of us should be proud all the time that he's a Muslim and she's a Muslimah. But this will not happen unless if we built correct, authentic concepts, plus we kept on fixing any possible misconception. Or otherwise, how come your son or your daughter will be proud of Islam in this time? أسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يغفر لنا ويرحمنا ويعافنا ويعفو عنا. اللهم ارحمنا فوق الأرض وتحت الأرض ويوم العرض عليك يا كريم. اللهم إنا عبيدك أبناء عبيدك أبناء إمائك، نواصينا بيدك، ماض فينا حكمك، عدل فينا قضاؤك. نسألك بكل اسم هو لك سميت به نفسك أو أنزلته في كتابك أو علمته أحدا من خلقك أو استأثرت به في علم الغيب عندك أن تجعل القرآن العظيم ربيع قلوبنا وجلاء أحزاننا وذهاب همومنا وغمومنا يا رب العالمين. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. وأقم الصلاة.